All right, lesson 14 is based on solving for a variable in an equation. So we've practiced simplifying algebraic expressions, doing combining like terms, exponent rules, looking at different variables. So now we're gonna, actually solve for x. We're not just simplifying. We're gonna evaluate and find an answer. So if you ever see something that has two parentheses that are touching, you're going to multiply. You're going to distribute. A lot of you remember this as foiling. We don't like to say that word. It's not mathematical, but um, basically first you need to multiply so the insides go first. This can also be done using like a square, like a Punnett square. Some of you guys got scared by that last time. Remember this thing? So you can use either method. Um, But basically, you're going to do x times x is x squared. A lot of you were forgetting when you multiply, it's, exponents. X times 2 is plus 2x. And then we go on the bottom. We go 2 times x is another 2x. And then 2 times 2 is plus 4. And we're equaling it to 56. So now we have an equal sign. We still have to isolate that variable. So here we get x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 56. Okay, and what you're going to notice here is that, can you combine any other like terms? You can maybe move the 4 over, but can you combine x squared and 4x? You can't because one has an exponent, one doesn't, right? Just because they both have an x doesn't mean we can combine them. So this would involve factoring. And if you remember factoring, so let's continue to this slide. So right now we have x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 56. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this 56 over. And what you're going to do is take notes while you watch me. Maybe some of you remember this. Ultimately, you can factor this out. What I want you to do, though, is leave it. If you can factor this, go ahead and try to. This may need to be for another day's lesson. But I just wanted to show you that you can't combine these. So you're just going to have this expression. Okay, so for this one, we couldn't solve for x. We would need to factor. Okay. All right. So now if you get something that looks like this, and some of you made a mistake on the homework when you did this for one of the assignments. Okay, we're not actually multiplying anymore. We have this addition sign in the middle. So we would technically distribute that positive, but positive doesn't change the sign of anything. So basically we're just going to combine, we're going to drop the parentheses and combine like terms and then try to solve for x. Let's see if this works nicely. So we can combine x and x. So how many x's do we have all together? We have 2x. Then combine the numbers together. Plus 4. Don't combine the 56. It's on the other side of the equation. All right, now we need to, this is algebra. Subtract 4 on both sides. So this one will get 2x equals 52. 52 is here. And then what do you do to both sides? Get x by itself. This is multiplication, so we have to divide. So we get x equals, what's half of 52? 26. All right, so that one does work. And then we can check our work by plugging 26 back into the original. That's up here to check our work. Okay. Some things that to remember when you're adding are things real world like perimeter. So if you're talking about perimeter, you're adding all sides of a shape. Let's practice another form. So let's say I told you to add two lengths together. What would you get for this? So are the question for you is, am I solving or am I just simplifying? That's the main thing I want you guys to like realize here. So I'm only solving if I see a what? If I'm seeing an equal sign. Do you see an equal sign? No. So right now we're only simplifying here. Okay, we're combining like terms. We're trying to see, what is this expression when we put it together. So let's combine the x's. And again, we're just adding, we're dropping, nothing changes here. So we get 5x, combine the 6 and the -8. Careful, it's not a positive, it's a negative. So 6 minus 8 is a -2. We can't combine these, so that's our final answer. So we just simplified. All right. So let's say I give you a rectangle and I ask you to find me the perimeter. I remember some of you did this on like an old test. To find the perimeter, you add up all sides of a shape. So just because they labeled only 2 does not mean you add only those 2. If this is x plus 4, then what else is x plus 4? This is back to our properties, which we're going to go back to in a week or two when we go back to more geometry unit content. I wanted to just do some review with algebra to get your minds going back to solving. But properties of a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. So this is x plus 4. And then if this is 2x plus 1, then this is also 2x plus 1. You have 2 lengths and 2 widths, basically. So if you're finding perimeter, you're adding all these up. So some of you might write it all out like this. Whoops, Miss Lomenico made an error. You're adding, so let's make sure we add everything up. Plus 2x plus 1 plus x plus 4 plus x plus 4. And you can put them in parentheses. You don't have to. I just group them that way. Or some of you might say, well, there's 2 of the 2x plus 1, so why can't I just write it like this? Some of you are going to write it like this, and I already know that. You can do that too, because you have 2 of them. So you can write it the long way like this and combine like terms, or you can write it the short way. It does not matter to me. But if we combine like terms, let's combine all our x's. So we have 2x plus 2x is 4x, plus x is 5x, plus x is 6x. And then let's add all the numbers together. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Okay? So you don't have to keep watching this video if you remember what to do for these problems that you're assigned. But this is all the techniques and things you need to know to complete the homework successfully. So I'm kind of giving you like a prior knowledge lesson on what you need to be doing, but you should all be capable of completing the homework, because the classwork assignment, because we've done all that stuff. We've done perimeter and you've done combining like terms. So, all right. Just as a review, some different types of triangles, which we also will go back to reviewing. Isosceles, 2 sides are equal. Remember, the tick marks mean they're equal. Also, these angles are equal. So that's in your homework if you don't remember. So if they give you something that's 2x here, then this has to be 2x. Equilateral, it's in the name. All sides are equal. And a right triangle we talked about a lot. A squared plus b squared is c squared. Again, perimeter of anything, you're adding up all the sides. There's nothing special about perimeter. It's just addition of all sides of a shape. You're finding the distance around something. So don't get tripped up if they ask you for perimeter. Don't start doing Pythagorean theorem. I'll hurt you. Not really, but mentally. All triangles have a total degrees of, everyone should get this right, it's 180 degrees. So if I give you these 2 angles, you should know how to find the missing one. So if I give you something that looks like this, I give you a triangle, and I tell you this is 60, and this is 2x plus 5, what's this going to be? Well, you know the total is equal to 180. So you can add all these up. You can say, all right, well, 60 plus 2x plus 5 plus the x, right, because that's what you're solving for, equals 180. Again, combine like terms, get x by itself. Be careful when you find x, you're finding this, but if I ask you for all sides, you can plug in x here. And we've done these before. So again, if you have a question, you can always email me when you're working on it. Don't just sit there and not get credit for something. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about was just a review of area. Anything that's a parallelogram, a square, rectangle, rhombus is, you should know this, area is base times height. Base is like kind of like the length, height's like the width. In a square, you should know all sides are the same, so that's kind of obvious. In a triangle, the base times height divided by 2 was the area. So that's multiplication in the middle. If you're looking at this is base, this is the height. If you're looking at something like this is the base, and then you would have to draw in the middle, this is the height. Okay? So that's just some review. Again, thank you for watching this, and hopefully this helps you with the assignment. So if you go to the assignment, which I'm going to post, you have problems 1, referring to perimeter and finding the length. You have, again, another perimeter of a rectangle. And look how they're giving it to you. Remember, we've done this before. So 2x plus 10 is the same thing as 28. So you can set these equal to each other, these two. Opposite sides are equal. Number 3 is talking about isosceles triangle, which I reviewed. And number 4. So you only have 4 problems. There are multiple parts to some of them, but this you should be successful in completing these. Okay, and this is the area of the right angle triangle is equal to the area of the rectangle. Work out the value of x. All right, so try number 4, see how you do. 1 through 4 is due.